Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Sputnik, and today I'm here to bitch. So let's talk about the current state of Battlefield 5. Now, first off, I'm a huge fan of the series, and I've loved every past installment, for the most part. But something just seems off this year. I haven't been particularly excited to play, and I've had less time in it than I normally would. And I think this reigns true for the majority of people this year. There's a plethora of reasons, not to mention the issue before the release where DICE straight up told people not to buy it. Yeah, not the greatest marketing strategy. But I don't want to talk about the problems with development or promotion. I'm here to discuss what the game has to offer right now. First of all, DICE decided to jump on the Battle Royale hype, which in my opinion isn't such a bad thing. This is where the future multiplayer shooter seems to be headed, but the way they're doing it is just not great. DICE isn't releasing Firestorm, their take on Battle Royale, until the spring of 2019, nearly 5 months after the release of Battlefield 5. This is a problem, and I assume it's happening this way due to it not being finished, or possibly they just didn't want to stack it up next to Call of Duty Blackout, which makes sense. And I mean, all we've got so far is a tiny little taste, which tells us nothing at all about how it will play. And yes, if you go to EA's website, there's a description of the game and some info and blah blah blah, some concept art, but it tells us nothing we don't already know. 64 players, which is nothing new to Battlefield, split into 16 teams. They fight as a ring of fire slowly closes in. Thrilling. This late release, tied into the shoddy launch of Battlefield 5, is going to be its downfall. This game is losing its player base before one of the bigger parts of it is even out yet. But why? This is a difficult question. Mechanically, this game is fantastic. It's built pretty solid and for the most part does what it's advertised to do. It has far less connectivity issues than Battlefield 4 and plays smoother than Battlefield 1, at least in my opinion. Even the visuals are better than we've ever seen. So looking at how fluid the gameplay is compared to previous Battlefields and how polished the visuals are, it just simply works.
Do the thing, and you do it right, and you don't fuck it up, it works. It just works.
So why do I still not get excited to play it? I can barely stomach playing for more than half an hour, which is due to a lot of glitches and whatnot. But also there was that weird revolt against the series after that first trailer was released last summer or so. I don't know if you remember. Basically depicting non-accurate World War II history, blah blah blah. Listen, Battlefield 1 wasn't completely historically accurate either. And I'll admit, I wish they could have done better for Battlefield 5, but I'm not going to get all up in arms about it like everybody seems to be. And don't get me wrong, this is in no way a perfect game. It has its fair share of glitches and ungodly black screens forcing you to close down the game between matches, which I run into way too frequently. I'm stuck on a black screen.
Oh no, dude, this is the funnest part.
But all in all, this is just another Battlefield game. As good or as bad as it may be, you're going to end up doing the same things you've been doing across the games. So I feel like the game isn't bad. It's very solid, it's fluid, it makes great improvements, it's really immersive, I guess that's a decent word to use for it. But maybe we're all just getting a little bit of fatigue? I mean, Call of Duty ran into the same issue. When you play the same series for 10 years, you're gonna get burnout, and I think that's what I'm experiencing right now, is just a little bit of burnout, a little bit of fatigue on the series as a whole. And I hope for the sake of the series, Firestorm really brings something new to the table. But unfortunately, I have a hard time believing it will. So to try to bring things together and put a little bit of a bookend on this little rant I'm giving you, I feel Battlefield 5 is in kind of a weird state right now. The community seems split. The players are dropping off or just not that into the game only a few months after release, which isn't good, especially since you have major content that's not released yet. Firestorm is the most anticipated aspect, and it's still months away from being on our screens. And I hate to say there was a missed opportunity here, because honestly, this is a good game. I may go as far to say it's a great game. It feels fresh and new, has a lot of inviting mechanics. I just really hope DICE can reel us back in. But until then, I suppose I'll just have to suffer with this.